Liquidlogic RMX 86 against the Verus Flux medium large. So check this out, everybody. I already done a kind of side-by-side comparison of the Scorch medium against the medium large Flux. So first off, let me go ahead and throw the specs up. 9'4", 86 gallons against 88 gallons. The weights are about the same, around about 50 pounds. The cockpit sizing's pretty much the same, large, extra large on both of them. Outfitting is about the same. Both of them have really good, solid outfitting that works really well. And the weight ranges on these are very similar to each other. Both of them, I think, can have that weight range between like 145 and about 220, 250, somewhere in that range, because both of them are technically medium larges. But the advantage of the RMX is it comes in 3 sizes, a 76, 86, and 96, where that just comes in 2 sizes, small, medium, and a medium large. So let me go ahead and start kind of the comparison. I'll start back here to tail, because that's where it's really kind of crazy between these two, and just kind of work my way up. Okay, starting back here to tail. First off, look at the distance between this and this. You've got about maybe 5 to 6 inches or more kayak in the water than you do the Flux, because of the length of this thing. And what they've done, they've tapered back and have this swallow tail, which works extremely well. I really love the way the RMX paddles, and the way they've done this taper right here, where this comes out more straight and is more boxed off right there. Different philosophies on how these handle. This has higher stern rocker. So what they've done, they tapered that stern rocker up. I don't know if you can see it in the camera there, but it's definitely higher stern rocker compared to this. This comes down and has more like a negative bend down to it, where that scoops up. So it has that ability to kind of come out like that, where that kind of comes out cleaner and straighter on it when it blasts out of drops. Both of them work really well in the tail, by the way. Deck stylings, you can see they kind of went with this deck styling that's, you know, more throwback to the original remix, where this deck styling is kind of a mix of everything. I really like the deck styling on this kayak, by the way. I actually like the deck styling on both of them. Both of them look really good, because I've said it before, this is a great time to be a whitewater kayaker, because we have so many good boats to choose from. Handles, you know, both handles are very beefy, strong handles, big cutouts there. You know, they went with 2 handle pull on each side, where this just went 1 handle in the center. That, you know, you could debate that all day long, whether it's good to have swimmers getting up here or whether swimmers should be holding on the back or the front grab handle. There's always a debate on that anyway. So either way, I'm kind of neutral on the 2 handles versus the 1 handle. Big huge wall holder cut out, that holds the wall extremely well, and it drains nicely down through there. They put wall holders in this one, but it's not as deep. I mentioned this before in my walkthrough, but I couldn't turn the wall. It's actually held good by that track in the back, so I don't think it's going anywhere anyway. Cockpits are about the same. You know, it's a little smaller combing, where they went with a very wide, flat combing. This is more kind of like your cutout, your rim cutout, where that's got a taper down. The reason they do that taper, because Liquidlogic has adjustable thigh braces, so you can customize where your thigh braces fall, where theirs are those fixed molded in thigh braces, which I'm kind of neutral. I've used them both from Jackson to Waka to Verus. I'm kind of neutral on all of them. I do like the ability to adjust my thigh braces from time to time, but honestly, you know, I bring mine back a little bit to add a little more aggression to them. What I try to do on this one, I go about 1 finger back on that. Outfitting, both of them work really well. I love how easy Liquidlogic is to outfit, but I really like what they did on that on the Verus Flux too. That's an easy boat to outfit too. Safety wise, with that step out pillar, I probably feel a little safer having a step out pillar up here over a foam wall. You know, either way, the bulkhead runs through the center, so the wall's less likely to turn over and collapse on you, but this is screwed in. You'd have to run over this with a truck before you'd break the front of this kayak, where that one I'd be a little nervous on, but I've never heard any complaints. Adjustable seats, almost exactly the same. 2 bolts there, 2 bolts there, slide it back. That's got a better like seating and knee height position. These are very low right here, but what Verus did, they did drop their seat down a lot, so I feel a lot better in this boat, but I fit really good in the RMX 86. I fit like a champ in that one. The way the RMX is a sleeker design, kind of looks a lot like a Stinger when you look at it from up here. It has that Stinger look. It's almost like a mini Stinger, where that's like something completely new. I've not seen much out like it. This is kind of like Verus's thing right here. They've got this taper that goes in there, and then it gets very wide in this point right here, where this just kind of stays with a smooth taper all the way back and then smooths out. That gets that starts small here and then widens up and then stays very wide and flat out and then tapers back. Very different on the philosophies. But then you look at these, when I move this back, look at these bows. You can tell this is something very similar. The rocker looks about the same, but where the rocker seems higher in the RMX is because of the stern. It gets back on that stern rocker and it lifts the bow up. But then you look at this, very tapered and then goes back, very tapered and goes back. Both of them have that rounded off peak right there. It's not like a sharp peak. This is more like a rounded off peak too, but they have aggressive styling all throughout here, where this is kind of like very smooth styling. Kayak and outfitting, let me roll them over and show you guys the hull. So yeah, let's just kind of go over the bows here real quick. Looking at the bow right here of the RMX, you can kind of see that it's really flat right here, but it is narrow. It's not super wide. It narrows and then it widens up about right here, but then the edges run all the way down to the, like, almost all the way out, but it's very smooth out on the edges. Where you look at the edge here, it stops about 2 feet up and then it's rounded. It's very rounded off right here, so more displacement in that, where that's more like a planing surface here. Both of them have the rocker starting here and kicking down, where you see the rocker hits here and kicks down, and both of them have this long planing surface, where you look at the planing surface of the RMX, it starts right there, then it runs all the way to about right there. Same way with the Flux, it starts right here, it runs all the way to about right there. So the philosophies are very similar on the way these planing surfaces are in the center, but this is a little shorter package. And then back here's where it's very different. The edges run out on both of them, and it gets a little more aggressive and flatter back here, where this is more rounded. This is like more rounded off, and obviously it comes down to that swallow type tail, where that comes down in a very sharp boxy shape right there, and it comes back and then tapers quick, where that's more of a progressive taper all the way down. So very cool on the differences in these boats right here when you see them side by side. And then looking at this edge, this is where, when I seen this edge, I compared it more to the RMX than anything else, because you can see how the RMX is flat and then it drops the chine down and then it edges out, where that's flat and then it drops the chine down, but then it flattens out and comes out. So you can see how they did it, and it's a very flat area going all the way down. But the edges look very similar, but then they change a lot here because of the depth from here. When you look at that depth, where that's lower, that gets closer to your actual planing surface, where that's like dropped down from your planing surface. Very cool, very nice, because I really like the RMX. I think it's one of the best hulls that Liquidlogic's ever done, which is very similar to the Sweet Ride too, and that's definitely the best boat Verus has ever done. You got like the Scorch, the RMX, the Flux, the Code, the Stoke, the Nar. There's so many good boats to choose from. All of them are really good. So yeah, that's all I got today, everybody, on the RMX versus the Flux. Let's get the RMX Flux out of here. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.